Everybody, welcome back. We're doing another Undecember video. In this one, it is the final boss of Act 9, Advisor Liam. Spoiler, sorry. If you're watching this video, you're probably understanding that things change in the story. So anyway, go through this fight as always, how to beat, how I kind of walk through it. There are a handful of revives. Probably what you're going to need if you want to go for perfection. Just be patient. All right, let's get to it. One of the things I do want to know, I equip my movement speed elixirs here. I like these for certain boss fights, so it might be something helpful for you. So there are multiple phases to this fight. As always, you know, range, stay away, try to distance yourself. This first phase, he has that dash there where he has a cleave. It's pretty easy to get out of the way of. He's got a cone attack that you saw there. Again, dashing, cleaving. These aren't too hard to get out of the way of if you're just constantly moving. It's just keep moving around the map in either, or the area in either a counterclockwise or clockwise rotation, whatever works for you. And as you can tell, this is not a difficult phase at all. I mean, it's literally rinse and repeat with the couple moves that he's using. So just be patient with it. He'll switch phases here shortly. So here you can see he sort of transitions to a new phase at around the 70% mark. He's got a bigger arm. It's a claw. He dashes. He's a little bit faster. That was one of the things that you do note, or you will notice in these different phases. I'm still sort of trying the same technique here for this point. Just stay away, keep in that same circular rotation to keep my distance. But again, you can see he closes ground real quick there. So you got to make sure that you're able to either get out of the way of those hits or take those hits. There's some spikes that you just saw there that pop out of the ground. Brief indicators. So that was my first death. And again, it's based on that sort of quick dash. If you're closer to him, he might have an indicator for that. Obviously, as a ranged where I have him sort of at the edge of the screen, sometimes it can be a little bit harder. He's jumping up, he's slamming the ground. If you're moving, these things are not hard to get out of the way of. More spikes out of the ground, just constantly be moving. But you can see if they do hit you, it's instant death. So that's 2 revives already, and he's not even at 50%. That thing where if he does claw you and bring you close, you can see that debuff there. That is a crazy slow debuff. You got to make sure you have rolls, teleports, some sort of movement ability. I luckily dodged there to get out of the way, but when he does do that reach out to you and pull you in, it can be pretty problematic, so you want to make sure that you try to avoid that at all cost. You can see those spikes are just constantly poking up in that area there. Something you definitely want to try to stay out of the way of. Again, he's got that area with the spikes that pop up. It's like you hope that those are in a corner where you can kind of avoid it the best you can. You saw I had a couple dodges on mine. Oh, and you saw him there. He's like, he has that hand where it's like in front, almost like it's a 3-point stance in football, and then he's going to come at you. So that could be a decent indicator for you to like just be ready, and then like as he does it, do one of your movement skills away. I'm being dense and just running through spikes. That's the 3rd revive. At this point, I feel like I'm just committed, and I'm just going for it. It's, you know, getting close to the final act, wanting just to get done with these bosses and catch up and play with some of my friends when I was doing this. This was a while ago. more spikes throughout the map, the rolling dash, more spikes. You can see it's a little bit more. He's now extending that arm and moving a little bit. You can see I'm up, he sucks me in, and you can see that one tracked a little bit, and now he's starting to jump up and down and throw spikes all over, and like he's whipping around on the ground. So the real estate in here is getting smaller and smaller to be able to run around, and that's the part where it just becomes hard. You've got to find spots. You got to hope that those spikes are in a corner. You can kind of just leave them there. Not worry. He's coming up with spikes here again. So now he's got those in the bottom. It's like, you know, ideally you can place yourself in a corner as those pop up, and then they'll be there. But again, now he's doing more and more of them. So I don't have a lot of room to run here. It's this whole area here, this area up there. He's dashing at me, still doing, you know, some big hits. That one's easy to avoid. It's a huge wind up, but obviously if you get hit, you're donezo. This is a longer fight. My damage is probably not that high when I was doing this. I tended, you can see my level's 57. I'm guessing it was at least 63-ish to be able to get past this, but I'd have to look and see. The requirements for the bosses, again, huge cleave, dead. I actually thought I was fine there, but it's a huge hit. Oh, barely survived that one. Again, you can see that 3-point stance where he kind of gets ready to sling himself towards you. I really should be, there you go. I was like, I really should be moving more when I'm that low in health. And you can see when he puts his hand in the ground, the spikes start coming up. It will wait a little bit to follow you. And it's even more spots where you can see I'm just running out of real estate here. So, I mean, it definitely takes, you know, 4 or 5 revives unless you're playing pretty good and you've got a lot more resists on everything. If you're a melee character, you're probably just trying to position yourself around him a little bit as opposed to me, you know, closer where I'm further away. But again, I don't like melee in this game. I think I know a lot of people love Whirlwind and just kind of survive through that. And I know that's a real good end game type of situation, but unless you have all the resists and the health pools and the barriers to be able to survive through that, I don't know. I'd rather sort of play it safe and run around and just be smart and, you know, take longer to defeat some of these bosses. So you can see I'm getting towards the end of the fight here. Again, a lot of just moving, dodging, weaving. There's that lot. Oof, it almost took me out. That 3-point stance, and then take him down. So multi-phase fight, not insanely hard, but it does. I mean, again, at this point, I was just sort of, and I was just sort of done with waiting for things to get done as far as the game. I didn't want to keep trying over and banging my head against the wall and this stuff. Now, the final boss of the game, just buckle up, right? So if you might have already done it, maybe not, but it's a boss that is very difficult. But this is what I found to be helpful for Liam. I would just have a handful of revives. If you really want to go for the perfection, okay, you know, I get it, but you got to have high damage, high resists. You've got to have high movement speed, so make sure to have those elixirs ready. I like to use those elixirs probably the most, but there's some resist ones in there as well. So I hope this video's been helpful for you if you have been having difficulty with this boss. If you want to see any other videos like this for Undecember or any other games we might cover in the future, please consider hammering down like buttons, notification bell, subscribe, all that sort of thing. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.